Francis Malige, you've just talked to the Forum for the Future of Agriculture, and you come, of course, from a banking perspective with a European eye. We talk about mainstreaming nature-based solutions. The question we always ask here is how and where does the money come from? I mean, you're the money guy. Are nature-based solutions good for business? Is this what investors will be putting their money into? Can we find solutions at scale?
So, probably, but it's a complicated question. Because in fact, what I observe, and EBRD is a European-based institution, but we in fact cover 3 continents, from Mongolia to Morocco. And what we see is that banks generally struggle with agriculture because it's not one sector. The risks and the financing cycles are very, very different depending on what type of crop you're engaging in. And so banks tend to leave this a little bit by the wayside. And also in some countries you have issues with land ownership. You can't own land, so you can't give land as collateral to a bank and so on. So all of those are obstacles to financing. This being said, what we observe is that financing agriculture is essential to food security in many countries. We see that banks that try it succeed at it. It's a very good sector to finance. And yes, then they are ready. Once they have agriculture finance, they're then ready to move to the next stage, which is to accompany their farming clients into more sustainable solutions.
And of course, within banking, you are at the heart of it, being the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So I wonder where you see the areas that investors are interested in, and there is growth. Because if we read the headlines, we might well get depressed. The ideas of green hushing, for example, and moving away from some of the sustainability agenda. What do you see in your role?
Look, farmers see climate change. Farmers see water issues. Farmers see drought and more rain than usual and so on and so forth. So there's no question that they feel this. Investors are not, in my view, the question really. Because what you need for investors to come, you need banks that are going to be able to work with farmers. Farmers don't go to capital markets, except the very large ones, which don't have a financing issue, right? But the farmers need a bank to intermediate that financing because individually they're too small. And so what I see is a lot of productivity gains that can be made from the very, very small farms, and that is a key to the development of those countries. And what I see is for the larger farms that are still not yet at the scale where they can tap capital markets, the need for banks to bring them all together into one vehicle that can attract investors. And that is very much the reality of the emerging markets where we work.
What are the obstacles there, though? Because as you said, it is a complicated world. So with your lens, where would you say what's the next move to start to scale some of these solutions that you're talking about?
Well, as I said, I think the number one issue is that banks need to be more comfortable with the risk of agriculture, which starts with understanding it better and then learning to diversify it. Because what I observe is, agriculture depends very much on climate. And you don't have climate issues in every crop, every year, in every part of the world. But you do have some climate issues, like frost at the wrong time for your food production, or not enough water at the wrong time, and so on and so forth. Or every year in some part of the world, in some crops. And so banks who embrace agriculture learn to diversify their risk by diversifying their portfolio into different crops, different parts, different regions of their own country. And that is the starting point.
And is energy transition an opportunity in the sense that it could be a mispriced risk, that there is real opportunity here?
There is indeed. And I see too many farms where the greenhouses are heated up with coal. But moving to even natural gas is a benefit. Moving to heat pumps is even better. Costs money. And so needs to be reflected in the revenue of the farmers. And that is somewhere a missing link as well. That's why we have at EBRD, we have programs that actually support the cost of these investments so that farmers pay the right price.
What message did you leave to the forum? Who do you hope really heard your voice today?
Well, my message is a message of, in fact, there's geopolitical risk, there's tensions, but I come out with hope and optimism because I see the resourcefulness of farmers. I was recently in as far as Turkmenistan, visiting people who've turned a piece of desert into one of the greatest strawberry farms of the country and the region. Right? So when there's a will, there's a way, and I know that I see entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector that fill me with hope and optimism.
And it's a great message to leave. And how important is the forum today for sharing this message? I know it's your first time at the forum.
It is my first time, and I can probably think it won't be my last. I would certainly encourage anybody with an interest in the future of farming, in kind of taking a little bit of a step back from their daily business, to come here and listen and participate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Francis
me.
Malige. Thank you.